6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Anjana Dodamkoda and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The President joins religious rituals at the Sri Nagaviharaya in Jaffna. The Sitavaka Odissi, the weekend special train services, commences. The Railway Department to provide 3,000 jobs. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says foreign worker remittances have increased. The INS Delhi arrives at the port of Trincomalee. In foreign news, a 72-seater aircraft crashes on the runway in Nepal at the Nepal International Airport. In sports news, the third ODI between India and Sri Lanka, India scored 390 runs for 5 wickets at the end of 50 overs. The Tamil community around the world celebrated Thai Pongal festival today. Hindus all over the world, including Sri Lankans, celebrated this day together with great enthusiasm. Issuing a message on the auspicious occasion of Thai Pongal, the President says that it is indeed a great pleasure to extend his best wishes to the Hindu devotees of Sri Lanka. He said Thai Pongal is celebrated to thank the sun, Mother Nature and farm animals. He added Thai Pongal was a celebration with added significance, considering the bumper harvest of the current Maha season, from which the entire nation would benefit. The Pongal festival this year is opportune to signify the government's endeavours to build a self-sufficient country by ensuring food security and nutrition for all, and reviving Sri Lanka, being the granary of the East, as established by our forefathers. Modernization of the agriculture sector is a priority for the government in its bid to create and also serve the competitive international agro markets, the President said. Meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is in Jaffna to participate in the Thai Pongal State Festival, visited the Sri Nagaviharaya in Jaffna this morning and received blessings while engaged in religious ceremonies. The President also visited the Jaffna Bishop, Most Reverend Dr. Justin Yanapragasam, and had engaged in a brief discussion. The Sitavaka Odissi, the weekend special tourist train service which has been added to the operation in an effort to boost tourism, commenced its operations this morning from the Colombo Fort railway station. The special tourist train, which is operational on the Kalani Valley railway line, will run from Colombo Fort to the Wagga railway station. It left the Colombo Fort railway station at around 7 a.m. today, while it has been scheduled to return from the Wagga railway station this afternoon. A group including the Minister of Transport Banduru Gunawardena were present at the inaugural journey of the Sitavaka Odissi. Passengers on board the Sitavaka Odissi will be able to witness a number of waterfalls, including the Ranmuduella, Kumariella, and Gorakaella, as well as a number of other tourist attractions, including the Sitavaka Wet Zone Botanical Gardens. The Railway Department will recruit 3,000 people as railway assistants to streamline railway services. The department will recruit personnel enlisted in the Multi-Purpose Development Task Force for the railway assistant job vacancies in keeping with the instructions of Transport, Highways and Mass Media Minister Dr. Banduru Gunawardena. Transport Ministry sources said those in the Multi-Purpose Development Task Force who have been enlisted for state service with the approval of the Cabinet and the Public Services Commission now have the opportunity to secure a government job with a pension under the Department of Railways. Even in the midst of the financial crisis, this move will help in addressing the Railway Department's critical staff shortage. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Sri Lankan migrant workers' foreign remittances were recorded as $475.6 million in December 2022. As per the Central Bank of Sri Lanka data, it is a 46% increase compared to the inflows recorded in December 2021. Remittances in December also showed an improvement compared to the previous month, which was recorded as $384.4 million in November 2022. However, as per CBSL data, 2022 recorded the lowest yearly total of foreign worker remittances Sri Lanka has received in the last 8 years, with a total of $3.78 million. The Sri Lanka Navy says the Indian naval ship Delhi arrived at the port of Trincomalee on a formal visit this morning. The visiting ship was welcomed by the Sri Lanka Navy in compliance with naval traditions. INS Delhi is a 163.2-meter-long destroyer manned by a crew of 390, and the ship is commanded by Captain Shiraz Hussain Azad. In the meantime, the commanding officer of the Indian naval ship is scheduled to call on Commander of the Eastern Naval Area and Commandant Volunteer Naval Force, Rear Admiral Dhammika Kumara, on the 16th of January at the Eastern Naval Command Headquarters. During the ship's stay, the crew will take part in several programs organized by the Sri Lanka Navy with a view to promoting cooperation and goodwill between two navies. They are also expected to go on a sightseeing excursion in Trincomalee. On the other hand, Sri Lanka Navy personnel will engage in a training visit on board the Indian naval ship Delhi. Concluding the visit, the ship will depart the island on the 17th of January.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Sri Lanka and India have renewed discussions on the long-delayed cross-strait 1,000-megawatt high-voltage direct current interconnection project, with a detailed project report expected from India on plans to link the island's power grid to that of Tamil Nadu, the Sunday Morning learns. The proposed project has long been viewed as an alternative stopgap solution to the existing power crisis. It is understood that the Ceylon Electricity Board and the Indian High Commission in Colombo held discussions late December regarding the recommencement of the negotiations on the HVDC interconnection project. A highly placed source close to the subject of the CEB told the newspaper the Sunday Morning that the Indian High Commission had informed the CEB that a DPR together with previously formulated documents would be sent for its consideration once again. According to the MOU signed between the governments of India and Sri Lanka in 2010, a feasibility study had been carried out by the CEB and the Power Grid Corporation of India Limited jointly for the implementation of a 1000 MW HVDC interconnection project.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, proof of COVID-19 vaccinations by way of a card is mandatory for all travellers to enter Sri Lanka with effect from Saturday, the Ministry of Tourism said. According to the Tourism Ministry, new COVID-19 guidelines are applicable for inbound travellers in an effort to prevent the spread of the virus within the country. It is mandatory for all travellers entering Sri Lanka to produce a digital copy of the COVID-19 vaccination card at the point of entry, the Tourism Ministry noted. All travellers who do not possess proof of COVID-19 vaccination must produce a negative PCR report when entering Sri Lanka.
Coming up, World News.
In world news headlines, a 72-seater aircraft crashes on the runway in Nepal in the Nepal International Airport. Peru declares a state of emergency in Lima over protests. Bolsonaro's ex-justice minister arrested in the Brazilian capital. A 72-seater passenger aircraft today crashed on the runway at Pokhara International Airport in Nepal. According to the reports by the Kathmandu Post, a total of 68 passengers and 4 crew members were on board the Yeti Airlines aircraft that crashed between the old airport and the Pokhara International Airport. Kathmandu Post reports said the Yeti Airlines crashed in the Pokhara of Khaskia district. Reports said that more than 30 bodies have been recovered. Peru's government has declared a state of emergency in the capital Lima and 3 other regions following protests which have killed at least 42 in recent weeks. The measure, announced late on Saturday and in force for 30 days, authorizes the army to intervene to maintain order and suspend several constitutional rights such as the freedom of movement and assembly. Brazil's former Justice Minister Anderson Torres, who was in charge of public security in Brasilia during the invasion of the government buildings a week ago, was arrested in Brasilia on Saturday on suspicion of omission and connivance. Torres was arrested after returning to Brazil on Saturday. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. A 72-seater aircraft crashes on the runway in Nepal, in the Nepal International Airport. Peru declares state of emergency in Lima over protests. Bolsonaro's ex-justice minister arrested in the Brazilian capital. That was world news.
Development news.
Colombo City Centre this week announced the launch of Abans Group's maiden hotel project Courtyard by Marriott Colombo, Sri Lanka's first Courtyard by Marriott hotel. Courtyard by Marriott Colombo is a part of Marriott Bonvoy's extraordinary portfolio of 30 brands and has a global presence with over 1,265 locations in 60 countries and territories. The Abans Group hopes that such ventures will provide the necessary impetus to Sri Lanka's lagging economy by attracting business travellers. The 164-room hotel located at the heart of the city's central business district, adjacent to the Colombo City Centre, offers a sophisticated yet comfortable environment. Guests can now bask in the sleek comfort of modern rooms and suites that feature ultimate conveniences. With stunning views of the city skyline, the Vera Lake and the ocean, guests can stay in plush suites ideal for extended stays or family travel.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
In the third and last ODI of the current series between Sri Lanka and India, which is now being played at Thiruvananthapuram, India won the toss and chose to bat first. India scored 390 runs for 5 wickets at the end of 50 overs. Virat Kohli scored 166 and Shubman Gill scored 166 for India. Sri Lanka made 2 changes. Ashen Bandara and Jeffrey Van der Sey came in for Dhananjay De Silva and Dunit Velalage. Pathum Nissanka and Dilshan Madhusanka continued to miss out after sustaining injuries during the first match at the series in Guwahati.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Federation of Information Technology Industry Sri Lanka, the apex body for the ICT industry in Sri Lanka, software chapter formerly known as the Sri Lanka Association for the Software Industry, organising the Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave for the second consecutive year in Colombo on the 23rd of February 2022 at the Shangri-La Hotel in Colombo, and the event is positioned as one of the premier digital excellence awards and conferences that will hold panel discussions, fireside chats, presentations and business matchmaking with an agenda to draw insights from participants with respect to digital transformation and exponential organizations.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of... For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first, and this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC. Imagine the possibilities.
The World Bank forecast Sri Lanka to revert to a positive economic growth only in 2024. The latest forecast of a 1% growth was revealed in the World Bank's Global Economic Prospects latest publication released this week. The positive growth forecast in 2024 comes on the back of a 4.2% contraction of the economy this year, on top of record 9.2% shrinkages in 2022. According to the World Bank, Sri Lanka will remain the only South Asian economy to suffer contraction in 2022 and 2023.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
In skating news before the weather report, the Russian anti-doping agency investigation into figure skater Kamila Valieva's failed drug test has ruled that the teenager was not guilty of any doping infraction, the World Anti-Doping Agency said on Friday.
Weather report.
In the weather forecast released today by the Met Department, it says that showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the southern, Sabaragamu, Uva, western, central and northwestern provinces during the afternoon or night. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the southern, Sabaragamu and Uva provinces. Several spells of showers may occur in the eastern province and in the Polonnaruwa district. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. The headlines of this news broadcast once again. The President joins religious rituals at the Sri Nagaviharya in Jaffna. The Sitavaka Dissi, the weekend special train services, commence. The Railway Department to provide 3,000 jobs. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says foreign worker remittances have increased. The INS Delhi arrives at the port of Trincomalee. In foreign news, a 72-seater aircraft crashes on the runway in Nepal at the Nepal International Airport. In sports news, in the third ODI between India and Sri Lanka, India scored 390 runs for 5 wickets at the end of 50 overs. That concludes this news broadcast.